ready for the first of the doubleheader for the Cup Series. Good job, man.
Look at that jump.
Yeah, Chase Elliott. He saw the flag right away.
Wow. I'm not sure I've seen a jump that big. You know, that is incredible.
Sorting it out back here, William Byron a little bit.
Oh, the two-car.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski had to catch it as well.
I think that's something we can expect, guys. Remember, super low downforce on these cars. Last year, they ran high downforce. Cars aren't going to have near the grip they had last year. A big adjustment for these drivers.
What a great save by Brad Keselowski, total pro. Not only gathering control of his car, but staying out of the door of the 24 right there. That's probably the hardest part about that. Your car's wrecking. Sometimes you just go up there and take that guy with you. That's a big moment. You can hear the 4-car, Kevin Harvick lifting off the gas, allowing Brad time to control it.
Think about that. From that 24-car, William Byron, he's one of those bubble guys racing to get in the playoffs. So, game of inches could have easily been taken out right there early in the race.
Logano creeping ahead of Jimmy Johnson at Ally 48. And right behind him, William Byron. We mentioned the bubble battle. Those two right now are 16th and 17th.
How does he race his teammate? Jimmy's really good here, we know that, but Jimmy's the veteran on his way out. Williams, the young guy on his way in, trying to make a name for himself.
We talked about that low downforce package, Steve, and I think that is a little bit of an advantage to Jimmy Johnson. He loves to drive a race car at Dover with as low a rear grip as possible so that it can point. And with this low downforce, it's a little bit easier to make that happen than it would have been with that high downforce.
Well, it's less downforce, and oh, by the way, full power, 750 horsepower under the hood. When you think about Jimmy Johnson and those numbers, everybody talks about his 11 wins. Well, we forget the guy on the box for those 11 wins, he's crew chief and the guy out the rear bumper of Jimmy Johnson. Chad Knaus, the crew chief for William Byron. So it's such a great combination. Jimmy, the driver, and Chad, the crew chief, have been split up and now both battling for that final playoff spot.
Parker.
Well, Rick, you know, we look at Jimmy Johnson trying to hold off his teammate there, William Byron. I was talking to his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, and he said how this race is really, you know, going back and looking at the old trends. You know, 2018 when they last had this package, but all the way back to 2014 to identify the things that Jimmy wants inside that race car, because a lot of these teams, with this change
we got a wreck on the back stretch.
Oh.
One car spinning around on the back straightaway. Kurt Busch.
That's Kurt Busch. They got into the wall, and you see all the damage to the left front.
Heavy damage.
Nose damage.
That's going to be a day ender, I think, for Kurt Busch. Shocking.
We're done.
He was one of the drivers I had circled.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Think about that too, guys. He's going to learn nothing. All these other drivers he's competing against are going to learn so much more because they're going to get this race in. He's done for the day.
Let's take a look right here. We have the 20 underneath him, the 1 up the banking in the second lane. Is there contact?
Yeah, just a little bit of contact from the 20 car. It looked like the 1 might have got out of the gas just a little bit.
And here's that straightaway we talked about in the race breakdown, Rick, 9 degrees.
There's huge damage to the left rear quarter panel of the 20 car from, I'm guessing, the 88.
Still there, bumper.
Right here. All these guys checking
Now
up.
bumper. Barely there.
Yeah, the 88 got a
There,
bunch of
man.
damage to the right
Lock it
front.
down.
Yeah, the 88's right front.
Right,
I didn't see the
okay, there,
quarter
I'll
panel,
do.
but the right front corner on the 88 is destroyed.
Great restart from that inside line. That outside's been dominant so far all day today. And again, the 3 car takes that outside and uses it. Look at Denny Hamlin, 3 wide around the top. Big momentum from that 11 car.
Making those 4 tires work for him as he's now in the tire tracks of the 22 of Logano.
Look at Blaney in that red car about in 10th place. He's really struggling.
He is.
Chase Elliott around the outside, Clint Boyer on the inside.
And Byron's back here as well as Brad Keselowski fighting with Blaney.
Car on the top lane in front of Chase Elliott. Eric Almirola got really loose getting in the corner. Oh, a lot of contact.
Heavy contact made there between Chase Elliott and Clint Boyer.
Yeah, Chase got into the right rear quarter panel with Clint. Clint into the left rear quarter panel with 10 car. A lot happening right there. Those guys lucky to get away. See the damage here, though.
Not seeing a lot of tire smoke.
There's a little damage, though, on that 9 car's left front. He's just down the track just a little bit. Turns the 14 up into the 10 car. Here's that Denny Hamlin move I was talking about on the restart. Look at this, just jumps to the top. You mentioned it, Jeff, the 12 car struggling a little bit right there. Denny able to take advantage.
Denny shooting right on by.
Goes around the 6 car right there. Taking another position, moving forward into the 5th position, trying to chase down Joey Logano. Joey moving forward as well on this restart.
Saw the strategy call by Austin Dillon. No tires, who continues to lead. The 42 of Kenseth in second and Buscher in third. Talk so much about Jimmy Johnson's experience here at Dover. Well, how about the 42 of Kenseth? I was wondering to see how he was going to end up on this lower downforce package. He's tied with Jimmy Johnson with active drivers. 17 top 5s in his career. Burton, I know you and him have had some great battles here at Dover.
Yeah, we have. And I was thinking the same thing. I think with this low downforce in Dover, this is a place where Matt Kenseth can kind of get his feet underneath him, right? No practices really hurt him. But coming here where he has so much confidence and so much experience, I think it's a place where he can excel. Dave, you got something on Chase?
Yeah, Chase radioed right after that. Yes, it is rubbing. The crew talking back and forth. We don't see smoke, but sometimes, guys, you know, you can tell inside that race car if it's a potential harm. And remember why that happened? He restarted 10th after taking on 4 tires where there were a number of cars that played strategy and won the race off of pit road.
Yeah, Junior, you don't feel that rub. You smell that rub. You smell rubber. You just get a little hint of a smell, and even if they can't see it, sometimes you can smell it, and that makes you really nervous as a driver.
Yeah, that left front, it's got the tire mark, or got the tire letters rubbed off of it, and you see it's kind of split that fender, knocked that fender in right around the 12 o'clock. Be working on that to try to get that off the tire.
Let's take a look at today's fastest lap, and it is the 9 of Chase Elliott. It happened on the 3rd lap before, obviously, that contact. How about Austin Dillon, though? 34th lap. He's the 3rd fastest lap turn. And Austin Dillon right now is checking out on Matt Kenseth. Dillon.
Well, Rick, we've talked so many times this year about how RCR as a whole has just improved so much. A lot of places they haven't been great at in the past, like Dover, they're much better at this year. Justin Alexander, the crew chief for this 3-car Austin Dillon, he kind of hinted that that's part and due to the relationship amongst he and Randall Burnett, who's the crew chief for the other RCR car with Tyler Reddick. A smaller team, both of those guys work really well together, really closely together, allows them to make some changes on the fly a little bit quicker. So while some of the other Chevy teams throughout the rest of the season, throughout the summer months have maybe struggled to keep pace, RCR has kept pace, and they're doing a nice job right now as Austin leads here early on.
Good battle for the stage win. Denny Hamlin could use those stage points. One more stage point would be a big deal for him, but also for Austin Dillon. Austin's going to fight him hard for that 1 point.
Now, Austin has a win already, and because of the protocol, he did test positive for COVID-19. Wasn't able to race last week, but will have a waiver because of the situation. So even though he's not going to race in every race, with his win, he's still going to be in the playoffs.
238 race consecutive streak snapped for the Austin Dillon. That had to be tough to set up.
So Denny's going to run this bottom, but he was running the high side, trying to get that run off the corner. He runs the bottom, rolls around the bottom, closes the gap. But when he gets up to behind his 3-car, he has to go where it is not. So he's going to go a little bit higher here, turn that car down, try to get back down to the bottom of the racetrack and make a gain right here all the way down next straightaway.
You also wonder, too, yeah, Junior, also wonder, as he's making those adjustments, if he doesn't have that high downforce package in his mind, right? You're not quite as affected by the car in front of you with this package than you were the other package.
There you see it, the big gains he makes as he turns that car down the hill. up the hill. He's going to turn the car aggressively here. Works a little bit better for him, I think, in turn 3 and 4. Seems to follow that high line all the way around 1 and 2. But right here, going to turn down a little bit.
Austin's going to get hung up right here. Won't be able to turn, let the wheel go.
There's the battle for the lead. It's over.
Yeah, just that little bit of lap traffic really hurt Austin. Even though he really wasn't close to that lap traffic, it blocked the lane he really wanted to be in.
Guys, it's 4 fresh tires versus the old tires too, right? I mean, that has to come into play also.
New leader, stay 11.
20 lap fresher tires definitely are helping Denny Hamlin. But bravo to the 3. Crew Chief Justin Alexander to stay out. Great call, got him to track position, Dave. With only 10 laps to go in the stage, still running second.
How good is this 11 team right now, Denny Hamlin? They just continue to pound away on this field. I asked Chris Gabehart about motivating his team right now when they seem to be hitting on all cylinders. And he said, I have a philosophy that I've had for a long time. It becomes not results-based when you ask each individual to compete against themselves. Make your part better, and the team will be better, but it's not based on results. Right now, the results are good, and the individual efforts are good as well.
Martin Truex Jr. trying to track down this 14 car. Lap traffic cost him a little bit of time there. 14's trying to track down the 22.
Yeah, right now, Boyer has the 5th spot. Logano is 4th, Keselowski 3rd, Austin Dillon now back to 2nd.
One driver I keep trying to find, Kyle Busch. He's all the way back at 16th. Just nothing working for that 18 car.
And 14 got through the corner really well there, got off the corner. Clint Boyer right to the back of that 22. 22 up the middle of the racetrack, diamonds the corner. Clint rolls right around that bottom, trying to keep that left front tire in that clean patch of asphalt, patch of concrete. That's a little more grip there. You can keep that left front super low. 14 gets a little loose there.
Look at this battle right here.
How about Harvick on the outside? Not even a battle, he just drives right by everyone.
Yeah, Kenseth's struggling. Remember, Kenseth is also one of those drivers that stayed out on tires. You see right there, see how loose he was in that 42 car, just no grip on corner entry.
Harvick continuing to climb. He is already up to 7th.
Oh, big tire.
And yeah, tire rub to 77.
Like
Reed Sorensen slow on the racetrack. Smoke coming out the back.
Maybe a mechanical issue.
Yeah, I don't see any damage to the body, so I think if it is tire, it's because something in the suspension is broken. As much as he's slowing down, I wonder if it's not a
All lined up.
driveline issue.
Just hold it up.
Now the 20.
Logano way up the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not.
Under 5 laps to go. It's stage 1. Logano a little bit loose.
Listen to the throttle here, trying to work that throttle. Steering down here in 3 and 4.
These two battling for the 5th spot. Didn't take long. Martin Truex Jr. grabs it.
Joe Logano on 2 tires right here. Also, everybody else around him is on 4.
You think you're loose with a good left rear tire, try an older one. Let's take a look at that 22 as we see the 19 saw on the wheel. Kind of goes in the middle of the racetrack, and whoa, just a big slide, guys, all the way up the racetrack, gathers it in. You wondered why it was up that high. It was a big correction. Big save. Oh, Truex. How about Truex? He's correcting it as well.
This is exactly what the Xfinity race looked like.
New tire compound Goodyear brought. I talked to several team engineers, crew chiefs. They're all nervous with this tire about being loose getting into the corner. Let's go listen to some in-car radio.
I think we're the best car here right now, but we need to keep working on it. Make sure you tell me exactly what you want here to bring. When I run the very bottom, I didn't play the third with snappy on the exit. I'm a little loose into the center in the long run, but it ain't bad.
That's what, hey Steve, if you're a crew chief, don't you love it when your driver, it says, I'm a little loose right at the beginning of the center, but not bad. I mean, that opens your door up to being able to do more things to your car.
It's great feedback as we see 1 lap to go in this stage. I also love Chris Gabehart being honest. I think we're okay right now, perhaps the best car right now, but he has seen that improvement you just talked about in Kevin Harvick with positions, Rick. He sees there are cars, they are not battling right now, they will be later. So reminding his very experienced driver, keep talking to me, tell me what you need.
Denny Hamlin is going to grab his 6th stage win of 2020. He wins stage 1 of the first race of the doubleheader from the Monster Mile.
And Austin Dillon, when all that pit stop sequence started, he was running 18th. Stayed on the racetrack, finished second.
Keselowski, Boyer.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jr., yes, Jimmy Johnson.
Grabs a few points here. William Byron not in that top 10.
Back under the throttle, and we'll see how they do on that outside line. Denny Hamlin, Mark Truex Jr. working the high line, and look at this. Mark Truex Jr. with the momentum. He'll surge ahead. He's got second.
And Junior, you called it where that 19 lined up. Looks like the top worked.
Yeah, I think the inside line most often has trouble spinning the tires down there, and it bottles up everybody down there. Great choice for that 19 team. Might not work every time.
Have to let you know the 42 speeding on entrance to pit road. They were in the 13th position, but obviously speeding penalty drops them to the back.
Jimmy Johnson just getting by Joey Logano. That's for 6th place. And look at Kevin Harvick. That early trouble, he's all the way back.
18 and 10 car having a little bit of a race there behind these guys.
Yeah, we saw the 18 shoot up the racetrack, and now the 10 of Eric Almirola trying to take advantage of it.
7 Stenhouse having a good day. Let's go back and look at that battle. They're still going at it. Kyle got up the racetrack, and Eric kind of drove it underneath him and took the air off Kyle's quarter panels. They're still battling.
Yeah, Eric's trying to get that spot, but Kyle's not going to let him have it.
That's something you just don't see with the package they ran here last year. You can hardly make someone loose the way that Eric made Kyle loose right there.
Whoa! Thought that 18 was going to get the fence there, pushing hard, using every inch of this racetrack to try to hold that position, and he does.
So Kyle Busch now holding on to the 9th spot. Almirola running 10th. It's Hamlin.
There you go.
There you go.
Keep packing air on him.
That means keep getting up to that back bumper and disturbing that car, just like this right here. Keep trying to get it. See how it upsets the 18 car? It takes, as soon as the 10 gets to that back bumper, it takes any air that's on the spoiler of that 18 car off of it. 18 can't get the gas down.
And you're watching Kyle Busch. He's not won a race in a long time. That's the winningest driver in the last decade right there. He's not won. You know how bad he wants it.
His last win was for the championship. He won last year at Homestead. That's his last win. He has been winless in 2020.
And I would make an argument that they weren't running well before that. They really struggled halfway through last year. They were not running well, and that's continued into this year. They did an incredible job of winning that championship last year. Dylan.
Jeff, talking with Adam Stevens, crew chief for this car, just kind of asked him how he stays motivated, or how the guys stay motivated despite all this bad luck they've had recently. And Adam kind of made the point, listen, I'm not a rah-rah guy. I don't need to really get these guys pumped up. They stay pumped up. They just need a chance. We just need to be in a position one of these weeks to capitalize and do what we know we can do to find ourselves in victory lane. So despite all this bad luck and having not won yet this year, the confidence is still high in this 18 camp. They just need to find a way to get up front and stay up front here over the course of one of these races.
The concern I have, Rick, is we just saw the graphic, right? The latest he's ever won in a season goes all the way back to 2005, race 25.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't win one of these races here at Dover, he set a new personal record that he doesn't want to set. And we saw the playoff points as well with only one. So even if they completely correct and right the ship, they just are such a deficit heading into the playoffs. I tell you, NASCAR has this point system right. The regular season, there is no home field advantage like other sports. So what do you do by racing well in the regular season? You fill that bucket. It helps you advance through the playoffs. After that two-tire call to work, William Byron is going to have his hands full with 13 laps to go as he enters the back straightaway. 1 lap down to the leader, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is on the same straightaway. So now, with only 2 right-side tires and 13 laps to go, he has to stay only 1 lap down. There you see it, the 24 and the 11. I know it's easy to say after, but I really think it would have been better to take 4 tires and then just take the wave around, unless, of course, the 78 blows up or whatever he's smoking for. Take 4 tires and take the wave around and 12 more laps, Rick, I think would be a better option for the 24, but we'll have to see if this works out. Can he stay only 1 lap down with 12 laps to go?
Tire rub for the 78 of B.J. McLeod.
Pace looks good, actually. That set of corners, even on 2 tires. We saw Dylan stay out on old tires, drivers. It seems like these 2 right side tires are working so far.
All right, guys, we talked about pitting under green and why it's so difficult at this racetrack. So let's go right along with Martin Truex Jr. Listen when he lifts. Almost to the bridge, that crossover. This is under a normal lap, all right? Now we're gonna ride along with him. This is when he lifts coming on pit road. Way before the bridge. That's something that's counterintuitive at most racetracks. You don't expect to lift sooner when you're gonna slow down. You expect to drive in the corner deeper coming to do a green flag stop. That's why so many people have trouble here. You have to back up that entry, really slow down. If not, you will miss the pit road entrance.
Another great battle here with 18 car Kyle Busch documenting his climb through the field. He gets the outside of the 4 car of Kevin Harvick for 5th place. Right in front of him, Brad Keselowski in that 2 car is the next position.
Just a little bit of housekeeping as well. We saw Eric Almirola on pit road because of that vibration, Rick. 2 laps down currently in the 29th position.
There are only 16 cars, now 15 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney running 15th.
I like this longer second stage, Rick. Force these guys to get their car better. Force them to make green flag pit stops. That was the idea of this longer stage, and I'm a fan of it. I think the race is a little more straightforward when you can run the first and the second stage without a pit stop.
That 18 car is fast, guys. They have made that car much better than it was earlier.
I'm not jinxing them.
Look at that
talking
top.
about it.
Man, look how fast he rolls the center of the corner, running the top.
That's what Adam Stevens has always said. He said, we get better throughout the weekend. Well, when you don't have practice or qualifying, you can't improve until the start of the race. And so they're improving in the middle of this race. I wonder how good he's going to be tomorrow in the second race of the doubleheader.
Yeah, I think, too, this has a lot to do with the package. You know, taking that rear spoiler off the car so these guys can move around and can run close to each other. Really suits this racetrack much better. You're using all of the racetrack in the corner.
It's fair to say Kyle Busch is not a fan of that other package either. A lot of close calls on this racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. working lap traffic. Whoa! Yeah, I'm sure Martin's wondering, what in the world? Giving you plenty of room.
Yeah, these cars, it's so slick. You know, the banking on the straightaway is 9 degrees, but it feels like much more than that. You guys kind of wander down the racetrack into the right front of your car sometimes.
This is what I was talking about, Rick. Here's my concern with this 2-tire gamble. You do it to save a lap, but your car's not good enough to stay on the lead lap. Or excuse me, to stay 1 lap down. 4 tires would have put the 24 in the same position. Look at the disgust on Chad Knaus, the head shaking. He knows what needs to happen, but the 24 is just not good enough. Jeff, what's the difference between 1 lap and 2 laps down? It's forever. So many options, right, when you're only 1 lap down. Now at 2 laps down and old left side tires, he can't stay out in 4 more laps. He's stuck.
Yeah, that's the problem. He can't stay out. He's going to have to pit. And otherwise, to your point, he could have put 4 on, fill it with fuel, and go ahead and take the damage then, but not pit at the stage break and hope to get his lap back. But that was a gamble, right? Staying out for a long time was a gamble that did not work out.
But I'm okay with the staying out. It's the 2 tires, I think, was the missed call for the staying out.
And Steve, they know, I mean, through engineers, computers, they knew when he was going to come out in relation to Denny Hamlin, or at least a pretty good idea. If they do a 2-tire stop, they're on pit road for this amount of time. That means they get back out on the racetrack. They'd be just in front of the 11. So that was a Chad Knaus making an educated guess of, I think we can stay in front of him.
I would love to stop right now and ask Chad what the computer told him and see if it told him the truth or see if their program misled him.
Look at the points. Now this point battle projects out as if everybody's going to finish just like this. Keep that in mind. But remember the lead coming in here that William Byron had on Jimmy Johnson. And now if everything stays the same, that lead is erased.
And how about, yeah, a point for Jimmy there as he gets by the 22.
Oh, look at there.
Doing a little contact. Bubba gets into the back of him.
Bubba racing hard here.
Last time the 11 won the first 2 stages. He went on to win. That was Miami.
Remember, Joey Logano got into Bubba Wallace last week. Maybe Bubba just saying, you know what, I didn't like that last week. Gonna give you a little shot, let you remember it.
So Denny Hamlin wins stage 1 and stage 2. Can he get back in his winning ways and get back to victory lane at the Monster Mile, the first race of the doubleheader? Back up through the gears they go to get underway with the final stage.
Joe Gibbs battle amongst the top right here. Kyle Busch going for the lead.
Oh, Denny Hamlin didn't get a good exit off the 2. He's going to have his hands full with Brad Keselowski for 3rd. Denny was 2nd. Chose to line up in that outside line. It's going to cost him a couple spots here.
And he went from leading the race back to 4th.
So now Martin Truex Jr. out front. Jimmy Johnson running the high line above the 9. Chase Elliott. Those two continue to fight. Their teammates as well. And Hendrick.
Chase Elliott has a really fast race car. That Ricky Stenhouse Jr. having a really strong day.
Sure, as I talked to him earlier today, Ricky Stenhouse told me, he said, we're looking for points. We're looking to have the best runs we can. He said, actually, last year I was running in the top 10 when I blew the right front, and he thinks his equipment is better this year. So not a surprise that he's running up here in the 10th spot now.
I agree with him. I think the team he's with now, I wasn't quite sure when he made the move over to 47 car, but he's brought some speed with him. His ability and his aggression. They're getting better and better as the season goes on.
Behind him, Cole Custer, a rookie. He's talked about making the adjustment to the Cup Series. Got that win earlier in the year. Now sitting here running 11th spot.
William Byron just behind them, but again, William Byron scored 2 laps down, running in the 29th position, Steve. So is this a huge mistake for that 24 team and the choice that they made?
Well, it definitely hurt. Now they just need to run enough laps to get a yellow where most of the leaders will pit. That way they can take the wave around. So all the 24 driver can do right now is move himself up into the pack. So he has a better chance of taking the wave around. The car just in front of him, the 41 of Cole Custer. We talk about these good runs. You know, remember, guys, he's in the playoffs with a win. And, Jeff, why I think that matters, it's not because he's going to go contend for a championship. He may. But think of the knowledge he's going to gain as a rookie, right? To be able to feel what the media responsibilities are. You know, what it's like to have the focus of being in the playoffs. It makes your rookie year even more valuable as you kind of move into your career.
Yeah, it certainly does, Steve. And on top of that, I just think that no matter what, if you don't make the playoffs, it feels like a lost season, right? And when the playoffs start and you're not in it, you feel like everybody's forgotten about you. Like you don't even involve, you're not even included in the races. It is a horrible feeling as a driver and a race team.
Well, it sounds crazy, but as you look at drivers moving around, Rick, if I'm an owner or a decision maker at a team and I look at somebody's resume and he took part that young in his career, that's a big positive. I'm like, hey, if we can get our cars better and get him there again, it's not his first shot in the big show. You know, because I've had all these drivers that say it wouldn't matter and the elimination wouldn't matter, and then they all say, you know, I was wrong. That pressure's real when you get to those cut races. So, you know, he'll feel that pressure.
Let's listen into Cole's radio.
Cole, one thing I want you to think about on new tires, maybe you're rushing the throttle a little bit in the middle, trying to go back too soon, and that's lift on exit. Just wait just a tick so you don't have to lift on exit. That may help you on new tires, make them last a little longer.
I like that information from Mike Shiplett. So drivers, I ask you, he must be looking at SMT data, right, of other drivers to have that. Mike's never driven at Dover, so he's seeing what other people are doing successfully and relaying it to his young drivers.
Martin Truex Jr. out front. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, they're all running 1, 2, 3 right now. Joe Gibbs Racing has to feel pretty good about that. Chase Elliott, we've talked about how quick that number 9 is, and already he's been able to get by the 22 of Logano, so he's up to 7. Here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy's going to catch a slap car. Wrong place on corner exit. You see those guys in front of him drive away. can't open it. You can't get into the throttle, commit to the throttle coming up on the inside of a lap car on corner exit.
I love riding on board, though. You know, at a track like this, you can just see not only how much the car moves left to right, the car in front of you, but you can actually see like the content. As we get closer to that 22, what I mean by that is that left rear tire in the wheel well, you see it bouncing up and down over the bumps. You know, this concrete track is anything but smooth. Really rough entering turn 3. It's one of the biggest trouble spots as you kind of go. This is a crossover bridge right here, and as you enter turn 3, a big set of bumps down here.
Junior called that railroad tracks earlier when we were watching the Xfinity Series race. It was like going over railroad tracks. Here's Alex Bowman. Remember the damage to the right front. That was early on in the race as he goes by Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, last week we talked about earlier, there was some contact with 22 car, Joe Logano and Bubba Wallace. Well, this was it from last week. Logano, an aggressive move down there on the bottom, got into Bowman, and Bowman got into Bubba Wallace. Imagine that Bowman and Wallace weren't happy with that move. Really aggressive from Joey, trying to make something happen, but a bit over aggressive there.
Yeah, we were talking with Bubba Wallace earlier this week, and he made the comment. He said, hey, I was a little bit surprised running up where I was. I wasn't expecting to be up there in the top 10 and having such a great run. And then, of course, nobody knew about it because I ended up wrecking. You know, I got wrecked at the last lap there. So it was difficult for him, but he said it even surprised him that he was running so well there.
And I heard Joey in an interview earlier this week, and he said, look, I may have gotten, been a little too aggressive, but I get paid to do 2 things. Number 1, pass cars in front of me. Number 2, keep the cars from behind me passing me. That's what I get paid to do. And sometimes I get a little too aggressive, and that's what he thought he did, but just trying to get more than perhaps he should have. But that's what you do as a race car driver.
That doesn't sound like an apology.
No, it wasn't. I think that sounded like an explanation.
It was
Apology and explanation, 2 different things.
It was one of those driver's apologies. I hate that. I hate that happened. Right? I hate that happened.
I hate that happened. As we're looking at Bubba Wallace, he's brought a couple different sponsors, DoorDash, Columbia, that have come in to the sport and to Richard Petty Motorsports. Still unknown as to what 2021 holds for Bubba. As far as where he will race, he said that every day he thinks they're making progress. And so he's excited about the situation that he's in right now, and really excited about the fact that Jerry Baxter has come over and is crew chiefing for him now this year. He thinks that's going that much better.
The driver that has to be excited about his performance today is Clint Boyer. Currently running in the 5th position. And guys, you talked about Daytona next week, a doubleheader at Dover. Who can it benefit? Well, Clint Boyer currently 80 points above the cut line. He's doing a nice job. Why it's not a win, he's not guaranteed in the playoffs. What he's doing with this good run is taking the pressure of Daytona off. Remember, if he can stay above 16 and stay enough points above, he can make it where Daytona can be a relaxing trip for Clint Boyer in the 14 car. Dave.
Steve, when I talked to Klausmeier about his driver this morning, he said one of the reasons why he runs well here is he does very well wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. He knows how to make his car good right there down that bottom line. The other thing that he does well, he knows how to set the car up to push it. You do have to drive aggressively, Parker, and you know that.
Right, Dave, you do. And one driver trying to drive aggressively right now is our leader, Martin Truex Jr., because behind him is Kyle Busch, who has been catching him the last couple laps. Reason being, Martin Truex came on the radio and said, I'm too loose again, and that again is around lap 30 in the run. From here on out, that car continually gets looser. Him and James Small tried to work on it, and you can hear on the radio how badly they want to keep this win. They definitely want to keep up with the lead right now, knowing they really want to get a win here soon, guys.
You know, Martin Truex Jr., we joke about it as far as how many different home tracks he has. I think he would consider Dover a home track for himself. So you'd look at his career here, 3 wins, ties for the most at any track. He's finished top 2 in both races last year, top 5 finishes, 6 of the last 7 races at this racetrack. So it is Joe Gibbs Racing, 1, 2, 3, Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and then Boyer, Keselowski, Harvick, all driving Fords. Chase Elliott, the highest Chevrolet right now in 7th, Logano 8th, Jimmy Johnson 9th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 10th.
Big question now with 69 laps to go is when the leaders feel they'll have to pit if it does stay under green. 51 laps on the tires or green flag laps on the tires. So they're inside their fuel window. If you're going to try to split this up evenly on tires, you're going to pit in about 8 more laps. But like I said earlier, I have concern with that. This is a racetrack. We've seen mechanical failures. We've seen people spin and wreck, get into pit road. So, you know, if you have a race win, I think that gamble is real. But someone like Kyle Busch, can he take that gamble? Oh,
Look at
boy.
loose.
Well,
Harvick was.
Might get a yellow right here.
That left front tire of Harvick's, man, was twitching, trying to control that car, and he did a great job not giving up the spot. Man, look at him moving. That left front tire is moving so much getting down in the corner. 18 car fading a little bit here.
here comes
On the
Denny
long
Hamlin.
run.
Wonder if running that high line
It's done
has hurt
something.
the tires.
Yeah,
Well, there's a reason there's grip up there.
he's lost
Yeah.
a little pace. Yeah, you're right, Steve. So explain to me what you mean by that.
So basically, you can see the color of the racetrack, how it's very, very dark at the bottom where all the cars run. That is that rubber being laid down, smeared into that rough concrete surface, making it smooth and slick. Up the racetrack, there's not as much tire tracks. You go up there, there's more grip, but guess what? It's taking more rubber off your tire to do it. So therefore, wearing the tires more, heating them up more, losing grip as you run.
And he hasn't been a little up the racetrack. He's been way up there.
Blazing the path.
Yes.
Remember, Junior, we used to have a rule. You cannot be the first one up there. That was the only rule.
Don't be the first one.
That's right.
Let somebody else go up there and put the rubber down.
Just for the record, as a competitor, you never followed that rule.
I didn't.
I was going to say, you're up against the wall about every
Dude, it's
racetrack.
so fast.
Literally, it was a rule without a punishment.
Yeah. Well, this right front tire came apart.
That one hurt.
Self-policing.
So, Steve, you mentioned it. Now 64 laps to go. They've been running for 56 laps since the stop earlier. We know that they could go about 90 as far as fuel.
Yeah, the big thing is, you know, they're running mid 25-second laps. New tires, you can run low 24-second laps. So tires are a big advantage, and that's why the chess game begins, right? Who will be first on pit road? Do you dare follow them? If you hesitate, just 4 or 5 laps. That's not very long. That's 2.5 minutes to catch. All right, let me get my wits about me. 2.5. In 2.5 minutes, you can lose 6 or 7 seconds to somebody that's already on new tires. So you have to have a plan. You have to communicate with your engineers. Remember, in COVID times, it's restricted crew members. A lot of the engineers are at home. You're communicating either over chat or over intercom. Have a plan. A lot of information coming to the crew chief. They're going to have to dissect it in a very pivotal part of the race right here.
So think about Kyle Busch. We've seen him falling a little bit, right? He's gotten slower. He's 3 seconds behind. Why not come on pit road early? Come on pit road. Try to get those new tires on quicker to make some of that ground up. He's in good shape in points. He's not guaranteed to be in the playoffs, but he's in really good shape. Be a good opportunity for a guy like that to try to make up some ground.
Kyle seems to be complaining about how loose his car is. Maybe having used that right rear tire up, trying to get that car to rotate off the top. 4 car of Kevin Harvick trying to run down Brad Keselowski for 5th place. Hamlin is in second. There's the lead. But the situation is difficult for Truex because right in front of him right there, Ryan Blaney, that's not a slow race car. Truex is lapping a lot of cars on this racetrack and starting to get into lapping 13th place, 14th place. They'll be a little more difficult to get around as you see him trying to fight to get around the outside of this 12 car. Denny closing in within a second. That is what's going to decide this race, how Truex can get through the lap traffic. Without a caution, that is Denny's only hope, is to catch that 19 car in traffic. Parker.
And Dale, he just come across the radio recently complaining about some of the traffic, and the team was willing him on and willing him through that traffic, and especially his father to say, come on, we can get him here. So definitely pushing him through that traffic right now.
Yeah, it's easy to get around some of these cars, but as he gets into the faster cars, that air from those faster cars is what will slow him down. Now the 11 car's dealing with that same issue as he's trying to lap this 12 car Ryan Blaney. He's got to find a way around him quickly so that he doesn't lose that advantage. And you see it, the gap growing as Denny is struggling. Now they're side by side. Denny's going to have to go 3 wide here, put himself in an uncomfortable entry, very low into the corner. That's all plays a big role. The ebb and flow of that lead gap goes from 1 second to 1.5 seconds, just like that.
Let's go back in car Watch what Martin Truex Jr. does to get by Blaney. Drives in the corner, goes to the outside, listen to the throttle. Boom, goes to the throttle quicker than he normally would to get to that right rear quarter panel of the 12-car Blaney. He would never get in the throttle that soon unless he was just trying to jump up on the outside of Blaney. He had to get back off the throttle, but he wanted Blaney to know, I'm here, I got the spot. He wanted to take the air off Blaney's spoiler, get him freed up. Those are the kind of moves that you have to make as a driver. It's not always about making lap time. Sometimes it's about just putting your car in the right situation.
Does it add insult to injury as we see William Byron on pit road now? But does it add insult to injury when Martin Truex Jr. went by him, he was waving at him? He waved at him like, hey, thanks.
Well, he waved at him, yeah, as in appreciation for giving him that lane. He could have made him work a lot harder to get around him. I think that, you know, it's the track where you get it lapped often. It's a very short track, 1 mile. Not uncommon to be lapping, you know, 10th through 15th place.
But right now there are only 12 cars on the lead lap. Eric Jones is the last car.
That's a lot of traffic right here in front of Martin. The 10 car, competitive. Look at Martin chew him up though in the middle of the corner.
Eric Almirola's not had a good day. He's already a lap down, back in 18th place.
Martin couldn't get the gas off the corner there on the inside of the 96.
Just to clean up what we were talking about, you see on the left-hand side the 20 of Jones, now minus 21 with that pit stop from William Byron. So the bubble line has not gotten any clearer. One race in. Different names have moved around, but is anything but clear.
Eric Jones in 12th, the last car on the lead lap, in a really, really good position, sitting there 21 points out. I know he thinks he needs to win, but it's not out of the, you know, not out of question for him to actually come out of this race tomorrow in great position or in the playoffs.
So this 10 car, remember, we said he hadn't had a good day. Remember, he had to pit under green with a loose wheel. That got him behind, but we've seen all year long, Eric Almirola in this 10 car is fast. So that is going to be a difficult pass for Martin Truex Jr. We'll see how hard Eric races him. He is already 1 lap down.
Martin suffering from a lack of downforce and comfort, having to run behind this 10 car, not able to catch him, not able to pass him.
And Eric's running the line that he wants to be running. Yep. Martin's been on the bottom, and that's where Eric's running. Martin would love to see Eric go to the top, give him a little bit of clean air.
Look at all these cars. This is going to cost Martin a ton of time. Hamlin's a second back right now.
Well, this set of corners right here, it's going to be 4 or 5 car lengths for the 19. When he comes off there in that traffic, look at that 11, the white car up against the fence, trying to get that momentum.
Oh, Martin couldn't get to the throttle on the inside of the 13.
Yeah, but for those guys being the way they were when he caught them, I think he's going to be pretty happy he got through them as clean as he did.
I'm telling you, if Martin Truex Jr. doesn't find a way to get around this 10 car, the 11's going to get there. You see it closing in. Truex running that bottom in that dirty air. Even that distance right there is hurting that 19 car. Denny hoping that he can make that top work. Look at the run off the top Denny gets. Truex suffering right now, struggling on that bottom. I'm surprised as you, Jeff Burton, that he's not trying to go to the top to try to make something work.
He's complaining about being loose. Maybe he's afraid he's going to be even looser up there on the top. But there you go. There it is right there. Move to the top. Hamlin got close enough to him to force his hand. He had to try something different.
Let's see how that works out. It might take a few laps for a driver to sort of understand how to run that top. What are the inputs that he needs to use? Denny already knows that.
Yeah, no, right there, saw Truex kind of run the middle. Didn't really run the top or the bottom. That didn't work out well for him at all.
Running the same line as you, actually. You went higher. You gonna get me behind that car up there. Come on, go on in here. Clear, clear, clear.
Yeah, I didn't really like that communication because that's not what happened down in 3 and 4 the lap before.
Oh, the lap car here might hurt Truex on corner exit. He's able to open the wheel up, get off the corner, but cost him a little bit of speed. Denny, a great run down the front straightaway off the top. Denny using that high line to create that momentum.
Truex went all the way to the bottom that lap.
Riding inside here with Martin Truex Jr.
See that middle lane right there? I'm just not a big fan of that. I think the 11's going to get a big run on the corner exit. Yeah, that middle lane just doesn't work.
For the lead, here comes the 11. All over the back bumper, the 19.
He's loose.
Big loose. He doesn't want that 11 to get to his right rear quarter panel.
You're still clear by one, clear by one.
Now go up the racetrack right here. Don't go to the bottom. Don't go to the middle for sure.
Oh, he goes to the bottom, the 11. If the 11 gets to the outside, that's Denny's position.
Momentum. Denny goes to the inside. Trying to make a pass.
Inside.
Clears the 19, slides up the racetrack. The 19 not giving up. He fights back on the outside, but Denny Hamlin has the spot.
And he just took what he needed. Forced Martin to get out of the gas.
Martin just does not have the rear security. Look how loose he is. Just cannot get the rear lateral grip he's looking for. Got a report from Parker saying he gets looser as that run goes on, and that's exactly what's happened. Now Denny's got to deal with Eric Almirola.
Yeah, I think Denny, though, has the comfort in his car and the understanding of that high line and using it well to be able to get around him relatively easy. We'll see how that works out.
I was amazed the fight that 19 could put up with as loose as that car was. When you went on board, he was 90 degrees turned to the right at times.
Denny's got some great speed right here. Truex trying to put something together, trying to rebound, trying to put some corners together. He knows how hard it is to get around that 10. He's been trying.
Kyle Busch is 5.7 seconds back from Denny Hamlin. And with just under, well, about 6 laps to go now for Hamlin to the end of this race, Martin Truex Jr., as long as his laps continue the way he is, he's going to finish 1 spot better than he has the last 5 races. It was 1,000,000 to 1 odds that Martin Truex Jr. could finish 3rd the last 5 races. Well, he did.
There you go. The 11 gets to the outside, the 10. And he's happy about that. He's got some clean air in front of him now, all the way up there to his teammate.
And now that he's gone 2 laps down, Eric Almirola, he's going to get out of the way. He was fighting hard, to keep from going more than 1 lap down. But once he went that, now is nothing for him to gain. He went ahead and got out of the way for Martin Truex Jr.
Under 5 laps to go. And the gap staying about the same between Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. Maybe 1 last effort, 1 last gasp, but trying to get back up there for this win.
You see the speed that Truex can carry through the middle of the corner, but he cannot complete it. So the line that Hamlin's running allows him to carry so much speed on corner exit, and his car's driving better. He just said, look at Truex behind him. Just no rear grip at all.
3 laps to go.
Look at that. You can physically see the 19 car, the back of the car moving around. How about Denny Hamlin, guys?
Incredible.
He is having an incredible year.
Yeah, I mean, a track he's never won at, right? So he's going to come prove his point that he can now win at tracks that we have yet to see him find success. There's only 9 on the list. The 8 after today if he's able to finish these last 2 laps off.
Yeah, I know he had to pass Martin Truex Jr. to win this race, but won all the stages as well.
23 races into this year, 13 top 5s. That's a career record for Denny Hamlin.
1 lap to go. He's seen the white flag again. 5 wins already in 2020. Looks as though he's going to tie Kevin Harvick for the most wins in 2020. Harvick has 6. Denny Hamlin looking for his 6th. As you mentioned, he had never won at the Monster Mile before. Momentum definitely on his side as Denny Hamlin comes out of 4. And Denny Hamlin will once again see the checkered flag. He wins at the Monster Mile.
I've been running down the leaders these last few weeks, but I haven't been able to get there. But, we just didn't control that restart there. And, we just had to battle back. We had to go back and get it. And, just was able to work the top line there a little bit to get some momentum. And it looked like our car was just a little bit better at moving around different lines. But proud of this whole FedEx office team. This has just been this Camry was fast today. It was just unbelievable how good it was. Pit crew did an amazing job. Got to thank all the partners, Toyota, Coca-Cola, the Jordan brand, FedEx, all the employees. Appreciate it. And win 43. This is pretty awesome.
And it's pretty awesome that you won here finally at the Monster Mile after 29 times, Denny. What does that mean to you?
Well, people always ask, when you have Q&As, what's your least favorite track, and I always say Dover just because I'm not good here. I love the track. I just haven't been very good here, but you know, we just have unbelievable cars right now. It just seems like you know, we're coming to the racetrack prepared. I'm putting the work in, and we're getting results because of it.
You talk about putting the work in. Chris Gabehart told me he always encourages everyone to compete with themselves. What are you doing, Denny, to make sure that you stay on top of your game? Yeah, just working hard. Working as hard as I ever have, and you know, I can't complain about anything right now. It seems like we just got things going, and you know, I got faith. I just got faith when it comes down to it on that last run. When he says go get it, I just go get it.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.